What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 122 of the Bros Talking Soccer podcast. My name is Dave Knittel, here with my two brothers, Christian and Matt, to discuss stories from around the soccer world. Christian, hello.
Hi, I hear somebody talking in the background. I don't know who that is.
Mr. Beckett.
I believe that's either Mr. Beckett or our father or my father.
Your dad? Yeah,
it's
just your dad.
It's probably dad.
Or your dad for your podcast. So
absolutely, Matt. Hello.
Hey. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. I think we're going to jump into things because, we got Game of Thrones. We got things happening in and around, the world. And so we're just going to jump.
Hold on 1 second before you start. I have to answer this call for just a moment.
Dive right in.
Hello?
Who is it? Who's on the phone?
We're doing a podcast currently. Can you please call back later?
Tell Tina we said hello.
Bye.
All right, people. Sorry about that. Fuck it. What's going on, and welcome to episode 122 of the Bros Talking Soccer podcast. My name is Dave Knittel, here with my two brothers, Christian and Matt, to discuss stories from around the soccer world. Christian, hello. How are you doing?
Hello, David. I'm doing just dandy. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Do you miss me? Christian, do you miss me?
Not even a little bit. I'm so glad you're not here right now.
Oh, that's just mean. I miss you. We haven't seen each other in a couple hours, and it's it's this point in time. I will say you sound fantastic. I'm happy that microphone is working well for you. Matthew, hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, David. Thank you for asking. I miss you.
Oh, I miss you too.
Oh,
hopefully, how was your Easter, Matthew?
My Easter was good. Well, today I didn't do too much. I went for a run with my girlfriend yesterday. I was in Longview, Texas, visiting my girlfriend's grandparents and cousins and uncles, and we got to see an Easter egg hunt at their church. It was all in good fun.
Fun. That's awesome to hear. And Christian and I spent Easter together down at the New Jersey shore. So great stuff. I'm having a fantastic weekend, spending it with friends and family. But Matt, you were missed. Christian, you want to give us a trivia question?
Sure. I would love to.
Okay, great.
Do you know which team in the Premier League has been awarded the most penalties over one season? So in any season, what team?
And how many?
And there's a hint. There's two of them that have the same amount at the top.
Okay. And do you want us to give you how many?
How many?
Is that a hint?
Work? Yes.
Okay. All right. Great. We will think on it. Listeners, you will think as well. And we'll give our guesses at the end before Christian reveals in an absolutely glorious, amazing, fun ceremony. So we're excited about that. Matthew, over to you for Matt's Megs.
Thank you, David, for that wonderful intro. Welcome to Matt's Megs, everybody. Today, we'll start in America, taking over a little bit of Dave's domestic dives. So rumors are brewing that Thierry Henry is set to take over New York Red Bulls as their manager. Dave, I'll start with you, since it seems like every time a new manager is appointed, I tend to say that manager will do extremely well. And then a lot of the time it doesn't end up going that way. So I feel like you might have a better grasp on this. How do you think this would happen, or how do you think he would do if this were to happen?
I mean, it doesn't really make sense from a lot of different perspectives. Henry did spend, I believe, 5 years or so in the New York Red Bulls organization at the end of his career, so he's somewhat familiar with it. But his managerial career up to this point hasn't exactly been stellar, and the Red Bulls are going through a rough period right now. And I would have thought that, I mean, it seemed to work well transitioning from Jesse Marsch into Chris Armas. He was already a part of the organization. I would have thought that someone else within the Red Bull organization may have been a better fit than Henry. So I'm very skeptical if this ultimately does end up happening.
Fair enough. Christian, what do you think?
Henry has a lot of experience with the Red Bulls. He does not have a lot of managerial experience, as we have touched on so far. His experience with Monaco was a complete disaster, just garbage. And he has experience playing for that team. So just being a player and coming into a team as manager does no correlation. And it's very apparent with...
It does no correlation.
I said has.
It's an interesting one. But that's okay.
No, you didn't.
Nah, I said has.
Okay.
It has no correlation, and it will not be a good thing. In my opinion, I think Henry is not ready for this job. The Red Bulls are a little bit in transition, it almost appears, and they do not look good so far. Losing Jesse Marsch is going to be a painful one for them because he's been there for quite some time. And, I mean, they have been playing great, and they've been in the Supporter Shield race every year, it seems like, since he's been there almost, it feels like. But I still just I don't think this is the right hire. I think he needs more experience under his belt and to walk into the situation he's going to be walking into, similar at Monaco, where they have pretty high expectations, but the players just aren't there right now. I think this is a risky one for him, and it's not going to work out well.
Yeah, and also coming in mid-season with a struggling team, the exact same situation at Monaco. I think it really doesn't make sense from my perspective. So I'm in agreement with you there, Christian. Sorry, Matt.
All right,
Thanks,
so I won't
Dave.
go ahead and say that this will be a success, but I will say I am hopeful it will be a success. Well, it's not like I'm hoping the New York Red Bulls are going to be, the best team in the MLS, because I guess I pull for the Union more for you guys than me.
Thanks, Matt.
But yeah, let's be realistic here. But for me, he did so well here, and it seems like he has a decent understanding of the MLS. And at this point, I feel like it's not overly complicated tactical wise of a league to where like he won't understand like how to use his players. At Monaco, his players weren't up to the caliber. Here, I still feel like his squad, if he can motivate them, they could still do all right in the MLS. That's the one thing I will say is different. Obviously, at Monaco, that did not go well in the slightest. But trying to inspire with the Belgian team at the World Cup last summer, I think he did a decent job. And you got to start your career somewhere, and I still think he wants to be a manager, and I think eventually it will work out. So I think this is a decent stepping stone.
I don't know if I agree that Henry was a huge success in MLS either. I mean, he was a good player, but he won no trophies when he was here. So I don't know if you can say he was a huge success. What do you want?
So I just have 2 points to respond to Matt. I was going to go, but you jumped in there, which I appreciate, Christian. That's good. Just take the reins, go for it.
Your hand. You got to just take advantage. And someone's about to walk out that door in the background. I saw the door move a little bit.
Okay.
Split again.
Maybe. Yep. That's mom and dad behind me. Our balconies are connected down here at the shore. 2 things. First off, Henry was tangentially involved with Belgium. I think he was more of the set piece specialist. Yeah. So from that perspective, sounds like the wash is done. So apologies for that ringing in the background. So from that perspective, I mean, I guess he was somewhat successful, but I mean, Belgium's run to the semifinals, I don't think was just down to Henry. So let's not give him too much credit there. And also, he does have some experience in MLS, but MLS is such a dynamic league that is constantly evolving. Like when Henry was here, I don't even think they had TAM. And it is a very different league. Yes, a lot of the trades and roster mechanisms, are still there from Henry's time, but it is still very different even from a couple of years ago. So, he's going to have a lot of things to get up to speed with very quickly.
Okay. I still like my counterpoint to that. It's just like, the league and the team he's using. I still feel like the Red Bulls are a talented team. They have some top end talent where a lot of teams in the MLS don't really have top end talent, where they have, I guess Wright Phillips is probably a more even elite striker in the MLS than Henry even was.
All right. If we're going to, so I'm just going to hit you with some, I don't think Red Bulls have elite talent anymore. I mean, so Aaron Long and Tim Parker are elite by MLS standards. So at that position they are. Luis Robles is getting older. I don't know if he's still absolutely elite top class in MLS. Bradley Wright Phillips is getting older. Kaku potentially could be elite, but he's a mess.
Could be, but he might not be playing for a long, long time.
Yeah, so I don't know if the Red Bull. So the Eastern Conference is just a jumbled mess this season. I think Toronto's going to run away with it, but the rest of the conference is wide open, and I don't think the Red Bulls can get away with just talent anymore. So that's all I'll say. Just in counterpoint to that. But I don't want to go back and forth because I'm sure we could do that all day.
Yeah. Anything you want to add, Christian?
No, thank you.
All right, moving on from Henry. Okay, switching over to England. So a lot of eventful things happened this weekend, and I just want to address the top 4. I think we're going to ignore top 2 at this point because I feel like both of us, each of us is going to say either Liverpool or Man City to the teams we support who is going to win the league. So 3rd through 6th now is very interesting. Tottenham have... I don't even know how this happened. It kind of slipped my mind how they came in this position because they were ahead of City at the turn of the year. So it makes no sense how they put themselves in this situation.
It was because Harry Kane came back, right, Christian?
Correct. He's a hindrance to that team.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure Tottenham third with 67, Arsenal, Chelsea 66, and then United 64, correct?
Yep.
And they all have the same matches played.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure at 34. Christian, I'll start with you. Where do you think each team will finish?
I just, based off of talent, I have to still keep Spurs in third, but I don't know what the hell is happening to them. They're having a classic Spurs moment here at the end of the year. And usually it happens in February. They pretty much, I guess it started in the February or middle of March.
Yeah.
It's around the same time that they usually would. But their collapse was absolutely shocking. I can't believe it. Without Harry Kane, they were really, really good. And everyone thought that they were just going to disappear at that time. And it's weird that maybe he just wasn't healthy when he came back, but their style of play just completely changed. Yeah, they may have been playing a little better of opponents, but still, to get 1 point out of 5 or 6 matches in the league is just unacceptable for a team that was where they were, and they were 5 points back of Liverpool and City, I think, at that time when Harry Kane came back. But I still think that team overall is good enough to get into the top 4. I still think that they will finish third. Next is the interesting one. I am hoping to God on this Easter Sunday that Chelsea and United are both out of the Champions League next year, please. And I truly believe that it will happen. Arsenal, I mean, if we're talking about 4th place, who best to fit into that final spot than Arsenal? That is just where they love to be. That is their home. And just get in your home, Arsenal.
You too good for your home?
Yeah. And today they just really blew it again against Palace, who are just that ridiculous team that for some reason when they want to be good are, but most of the time aren't. And they got 3 points on the road at the Emirates, which is just crazy. So Arsenal blew a chance to jump over Spurs into 3rd place, but they're still in the hunt, Arsenal, and I still think that they will finish 4th in the end. Hazard has been fantastic for Chelsea. I think he's their only thing that has been fantastic for Chelsea. I think Conte, out of position, hasn't been as good and dynamic as a player as he is when he's in that holding role by himself. But it comes down to this. And I think that it's going to be Chelsea in 5th and United finishing 6th.
So, just quick question: would you rather United or City win on Wednesday?
I mean, you know the answer, but I'm not going to say it out loud.
United. What do you mean? I can say it out loud. What do you like? Obviously, we want United to win.
Christian is hoping. Yeah, he's hoping to God that they don't qualify for top 4, and I feel like Wednesday.
I mean, even if they win, they probably won't finish in 4th.
Yeah,
that's true.
They lost 4-0 to Everton today.
All right. This is becoming Christian's corner here. So I'm going to agree with Christian. Thank you. I'm going to agree with Christian. I will say United will hop Chelsea, and Chelsea will ultimately finish 6th, and United finish 5th. But I do think Spurs finish 3rd, and Arsenal ultimately finish 4th. I don't really have too much else to add because, Christian hit on a lot of points.
Oh my God.
I think it's going to be Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, United.
You think Tottenham falls out?
Tottenham because they have if they're focusing on Champions League, I don't know. Like if they have to rest some people, especially with Kane out right now, they might have to rest some people during the league. They might have to start Llorente at striker. I don't think he is. I don't care about
Champions League match winner.
I don't care. Yeah,
say his full name.
Yeah. So,
but
I don't know.
On the other hand, you have to take into account, that Chelsea and Arsenal are both fighting for the Europa League as well. They're both in the semifinals.
Well, that'd be great if everyone other than United qualified.
Oh my God, it'd be the best.
Yeah, quality banter.
Yeah, because
so I think
if Chelsea wins Champions League, Chelsea wins Europa League, and I guess it does either Spurs or Liverpool win, and United ultimately comes in 4th. Isn't it? There's a situation where the team that finishes 4th may not get into the Champions League.
Really? Oh,
that'd be crazy. If Spurs win, Spurs falls out of the top 4, but still wins Champions League or something like that. It's gonna be crazy.
Wow, I didn't know that rule. So, I had something to say about Chelsea. Oh, yeah, wait. So did the draw happen for next round of Europa League? No, it hasn't.
I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely did. I just have no idea who's playing. So
Yeah.
I
That hasn't
have no
been a
idea who's playing
focus,
either.
for us.
I will pull it up though as you
Yeah.
continue to speak. So
All right, so it won't matter. I think either Chelsea or Arsenal is going to win that. And I still think both of them are going to finish in the top 4. I don't know.
Why?
Something about Tottenham and the way they're ending the season and they have to focus on Champions League. I feel like there's a chance that they just don't qualify.
But the way Chelsea's been playing, like for me, Chelsea, I can't see them getting their act together and finishing up. So I don't have the schedule in front of me. I'll pull it up. But like just based on talent and performance up until this point, I just find it so tough to see Chelsea. Did you say Chelsea were coming in third, Matt?
no, he's at Arsenal.
No, 4.
Arsenal third? I mean, I could see Arsenal coming third, but just Chelsea. I'm pulling up their schedule. They have Burnley, then United. That's going to be a huge match. And then
Hoping for a draw there.
Yeah, Watford, and then United's got a rough run in here, and then they end at Leicester, so that'll be a huge match. I don't think Chelsea gets into the top 4.
Yeah, they haven't been playing well, but at the same time, they made the League Cup final. They are somehow like I thought they were doing so poorly. They dropped down to 6th for a while, and then after having a great start, and then they've still hung around, and now they're level of points in 4th. So as bad as they're playing, they're still there.
Fair enough.
So, and you can't. I mean, Arsenal lost today. I mean, United got blown out today. It's not like you can put faith. Tottenham lost this week, and you can't put faith in the other ones. So I'm just going with my gut.
All right.
Anything else you guys want to add?
I'm good.
I mean, I feel like it's unfair to Tottenham to say that they lost this weekend like that. They lost to City at the Etihad, but I just have the Europa League schedule. So Chelsea are playing Eintracht Frankfurt, and Arsenal are playing Valencia.
It's the bats.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Who do you guys have? Do you have both English clubs going to the final?
I'm going to say Frankfurt gets through. Frankfurt's having a fantastic season in the Bundesliga. They're pulling out results all over the place. I'll say they get through. And then the English team, so Arsenal's Valencia. Is that what we said?
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, Arsenal gets through there. Valencia's having a really rough year in La Liga. If I remember correctly, they were down flirting with the relegation zone. If I'm thinking of the right team. Nope, I'm thinking of Villarreal. The other V team. Never mind. Disregard that, everyone.
Yeah, well, Villarreal is who Valencia beat in the quarterfinals, and they destroyed them 5-1 on aggregate. But I mean, Frankfurt beat Inter in the round of 32 or whatever this is. I forget, 16 maybe. So they are a very, very good team, and I think they're going to give Chelsea a problem. I still think Chelsea get through, and my guess is probably Arsenal. I'm thinking an all-English Europa League final there.
I have the same thought, Christian. Good job. Keep up the good work.
Dang.
Right, anything else you guys want to add?
No, I'm good.
Nope.
All right, that's going to wrap up Matt's Megs here. Thanks for listening. Listen to a little bit of music, and we'll be right back.
Great stuff, Matt. That is an amazing fan you have overhead.
Oh, thanks.
Christian, that was about 15 minutes or so. So great stuff. You guys want to do a stadium scene plug? Let's keep this thing rolling.
Check out our friends at stadiumscene.tv if you are going to any stadium in the US or Canada. Doesn't have to be just for soccer, can be any sport. And it is information on what to do around the stadium, what events are happening in the area, what bars and restaurants to go to, where to park, and all that good information. Matt, what else do they have at Stadium Scene?
They also partner with content creators like ourselves and offer you things like podcasts, blogs, YouTube videos, all that great stuff. Again, it's not just soccer; it's all sports in North America, US and Canada. So check them out at stadiumscene.tv.
Yep. And if you have a podcast, blog, or other piece of sports content, join their partner portal and be a part of the network that we're a part of. It gets your stuff posted all over the internet and helps out with SEO and all that stuff. So consider joining their partner portal. Again, all of that is available on stadiumscene.tv. All right,
you want to network us?
Network. I'm going to network with you.
No, you network with, not network.
I'm going to network you on the line. I'm going to network you on the line.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right.
Welcome to Christian's Corner, right in the middle for the middle child, as we all know. And we're going to hop right in with some news coming out of the PFA nominations for Player of the Year.
We're hopping on Easter, guys. We're hopping
Easter
on
hopping.
Easter.
Yeah. Peter Rabbit. Whoop, whoop. All right. So we are going to.
Peter Rabbit?
Yeah,
Peter Cottontail?
that's the one. That's what I meant. Peter Rabbit's the thing, though.
Peter Rabbits, yep. I mean, I'm sure there's a Peter.
There could
know,
be
so
a rabbit named
Peter
Peter.
Rabbit.
So, I mean, it is what it is. All right. So the PFA nominations are the following 6 players. From Manchester City, you got Bernardo Silva, you got Raheem Sterling, and you got Sergio Aguero. For Liverpool, we got Sadio Mane and the odds favorite Virgil van Dijk. And then for Chelsea, we've got Eden Hazard. So, Matt, I'll start with you. What do you think of these 6? Do you think anyone was left off that should have been in there? And yeah, just what are your favorites? What are you thinking?
I think this is probably the top 6 players this year. I think Van Dijk is going to win. I think he's the best player in the Premier League, or best performer in the Premier League this year. He's so important to Liverpool. I think Sterling's going to be a close second, but it seems like that's almost consensus at this point. Those are the top 2. I'll be surprised if Sterling wins, but yeah, I think it's going to be Van Dijk.
Dave?
One of those awards that's announced before the season's over, right?
It's announced at the end of April.
Yeah.
Okay, so voting's already done, or?
I think so. I think that they announced these 6, and the voting's actually already completed. They just told us who the top 6 were.
So for a while, I was saying whoever was going to be in first was going to win, meaning, so it was between, for me, Raheem Sterling and Virgil van Dijk. I think the fact that Liverpool has stayed in it as long as they have, and just like Matt said, Virgil's importance to Liverpool and just how solid he is, I think he has the slight edge, so I'll stick with that.
Okay. So neither of you said anyone that you're thinking isn't on there.
I know. I'm in agreement with Matt. I mean, so Aubameyang, Kane, and Salah. So a lot of these times it ends up being the top goal scorers. So they're top of the goal scoring chart. So, they might deserve a mention, but I don't know who you replace on this list.
Okay. That's fair. I think Hazard deserves to be on there for Chelsea. But and I think actually it should be Virgil van Dijk is probably the favorite. I would say probably Firmino deserves to be in there. I think he's underratedly important to Liverpool and completely starts all their attacks, works so hard defensively. I think Mane is absolutely brilliant as well. But I think Firmino is a more important player to the way Liverpool play. He may not get all the goals, but the work he puts in, the chances he creates every game is more important. My lights did that earlier as well, so that's really funny that just happened.
Yeah.
Dave's lights just flashed for all those who are just listening to the podcast.
Make sure to check out us on YouTube, guys.
But yeah, Virgil van Dijk is, in my opinion, a lock to win this. Bernardo Silva should be the second. I think he's a better player than Sterling is, and more important to that system right now. I really do. I think he's been absolutely fantastic to watch, and he's awesome. He could play on the wing. He could play in the middle. I think Bernardo Silva was the second best player in the league this year. That's it. Anybody else have anything to add? Matt, you don't have anybody?
Wait, so you have Firmino replacing Mane in the top 6?
Probably, yeah.
I just think so Firmino might be a little bit more of a glue guy, but Mane's just scored so many big goals for them. And I think Firmino had a rough start to the season as well. I didn't think he had a great, beginning couple of months, and he's grown into it and things have gotten a lot better. And he is so instrumental to Liverpool's attack. But I just think Mane over the course of the whole year has scored so many big goals and has been so important to Liverpool. I don't think you can leave him off. And Bernardo Silva has been fantastic for City. But at the end of the day, Sterling is the one, again, similar to Mane, scoring the important goals. He's just so dangerous. I think Bernardo is a better all-around player. So I'm in agreement with you there. He works so hard on both sides of the ball. But Sterling is just so dangerous in the attacking third. And he's finally producing. And so for that reason, I still have him ahead of Silva there.
Okay. And that's fair. Anyone else have anything to add here? No.
Yeah, I have something. Hey, wait for me.
Hey, you're here too. I forgot you were here.
Yeah, I saw something. Yeah. somebody brought up that it's, this is solely Premier League based, and it was like, I feel like a lot of Sterling's best performances this year were in the Champions League or the Cups, and he's done pretty well in the Premier League, but I feel like we've had a lot of other people step up throughout the year. So I think maybe overall this season and all the competitions, you can make an argument Sterling over Van Dijk. But I think for the Premier League, it has to be Van Dijk. Yeah.
All right, interesting.
End of comment.
I mean, Sterling still has 17 goals, so it's not like he's not scoring. But okay, fair enough.
Okay. All right. So
oh my God, people that are just listening, you're missing out on amazing content there. Did you plan that, Christian, or did you just find that K?
No, I just found it on the floor, and I was like, I'm going to use this at this moment when he tells me that Sterling's better than Van Dijk. So I got a big LK right here. So all right, so I'm going to use that in the future for all podcasts. So watch them on YouTube. Yeah, so I'll move on to the next topic then, because it looks like you guys have said your piece. So next topic, Eredivisie has moved so not this past weekend, but the upcoming match week to the end of the season altogether. Why are you standing up?
I didn't think through this position to record a full hour-long podcast, and my legs.
They're just going to stand and lean forward.
And lean over you. Yep. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Okay. So the Eredivisie has postponed their match week to the end of the season. Every game, not just Ajax's match, every game, they have moved the entire thing because of the title race in Eredivisie and because they play Spurs the following midweek. David, I'll start with you this time. What do you think of the Eredivisie moving the entire match week to benefit Ajax in the Spurs match in the Champions League?
It doesn't feel right. I know they can do this, but it just doesn't feel right from a lot of different perspectives. These schedules are set months in advance, and to move it, I get that they're trying to help Ajax, and I get that they have to move all the matches because there is still a title race going on, but I really don't like it. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't like it.
All right, Matt, do you like it?
I am very for this. I mean, at this point in how soccer has grown, I don't think it's like many people didn't think Ajax could possibly be in this position, or a team from Netherlands could possibly get this far in the competition and actually have a chance to win. So I think to put them back on the map, I think it's so important to the league itself, and I think it'll help the league grow if they do have a Champions League winning club. I think it's interesting, and I know a lot of people complained like, oh, the FA or like the English FA doesn't care about us because they would never do a thing like this. But I think it's completely different, and they're two completely different scenarios in how soccer has grown, and I'm for it.
Okay, and I think that Klopp mirrored your view there. He said, I wish that the FA would consider this in England and try and help us out more in Europe. But I mean, you really can't with the Premier League. The way that it has just grown, and it's just a worldwide phenomenon pretty much at this point. And they can't do that. They can't just postpone match weeks. It just can't happen. I could see if it was like, I guess they could postpone match date, like specific matches for specific teams, which I think Dave and I were talking about earlier. They're surprised they didn't do that. But I agree with them in this situation, not doing that because there is a title race going on. It would give Ajax a huge advantage to know what they have to do. Who are they up against? Do you know?
Tottenham.
PSV, right?
Oh yeah, in the league it's PSV.
That's what I mean. Yeah, PSV in their title race. So yeah, I think it makes sense to postpone the whole league. I think it is very, very helpful for Eredivisie if Ajax do just advance and make a final. It would be huge because it's been so long since a team from Eredivisie has made it. But Ajax really do have a good shot right now, and I think that they have a chance against Tottenham. This is just going to help them prepare for both of those matches. So, yep.
Yeah, I think it would be incredible. And I want to say Netherlands is a league where revenue sharing happens. So it's in the league's best interest to have Ajax go farther, because the whole league would then get that prize money the farther that they go. So I guess it makes sense from an Eredivisie perspective. But at the end of the day, Matt, just to address your point a little bit, it's not like this is going to like put put the Eredivisie on the map. And like, this is kind of similar to, Jose Mourinho's Porto winning the Champions League. It's not like that really catapulted the Portuguese league a ton. I think it's going to be almost impossible for any other league to break into the top 5, and it would be an amazing story, but it still just doesn't feel right to me. But I'm pulling for them. I think it would be an amazing story, and I hope that they do ultimately
Mm-hmm.
win.
All right.
I love the discussion, Matt. Mm-hmm. Okay.
No. I'm laughing at Christian's face because
Dave said he hopes they win. Liverpool are in the fucking competition.
Forgot about that. If Liverpool goes out, I hope they win.
That's why I was looking at you. I was like, what are you talking about?
My bad. You know what? I completely forgot things. It's been a long day. I've had a couple drinks, and I forgot that.
I can confirm Dave was in the sun and drinking all day. That did happen.
Not all day, but
I've
had a couple drinks.
All right. Anyone else have anything to add on this Eredivisie discussion?
I hope Liverpool wins the Champions League.
Thank you, David. That's so nice to hear.
As I'm wearing my Liverpool gear.
Well, here, before we move on, Matt, who are you pulling for the Champions League at this point?
Oh, that's mean. You're going to make him do this?
I am.
Frickin'. I guess frickin'
You can tell them to go fuck themselves.
He said Ajax. Oof. Right.
I guess frickin' Ajax. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
Fair enough. Good. So, last topic here is going to be Paul Scholes being investigated by the FA on numerous counts of betting while he is an owner of a 5th-tier team, which I will pull up their name in 1 second. Sorry, I put it down. Salford. And he also was manager of Oldham for a whole 31 days this year. So, yeah, he's in some trouble now. And I'll go to Matt first here. 140 matches he's being accused of between August 2015 and January of this year. So he wasn't actually manager of Oldham, I don't think, at that point. But while he was a partial owner of Salford.
This was after he retired, or no? Was he still playing at this time?
Yeah.
He was
retired.
He was after he retired, yes. So he was just a partial owner. Matt, what do you think of the ruling here? What do you think his punishment should be? Do you think that this is acceptable? Go ahead.
So was he betting on his own team or any one in the league
it was not his own team.
Was it in the same league though?
I do not believe so.
To me, I don't have that much big of a problem with it. So I'm just wondering. So you know how LeBron James is a partial owner with the group that owns Liverpool?
Yeah.
Or at least he was. So is he not allowed to bet on soccer games?
Correct.
Oh, that's just a rule. I didn't know.
He's not allowed to bet on any English games.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes somewhat sense. But I mean, if it's the rules, and I feel like Scholes playing in England and being English, I feel like he knew that what he was doing was, I guess, illegal. So I guess whatever sanctions come of it are deserved. But I don't think it's too big of a deal for me, personally, if you're betting on things outside of your league. But the rules are the rules.
Yeah, players and officials in England are banned from betting on any game in any league. So that is the rule. And
so are owners considered officials?
Correct.
Okay.
So go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. So for me, he broke the rules. And so from that perspective, he needs to face the consequences. I do kind of agree with Matt that it is kind of a dumb rule. And, if he didn't have access to confidential information and he was just, playing, without insider information or anything like that, because he is in an advantageous position with the people that he knows and his contacts throughout the soccer world. So I can understand it to a certain extent. But if he was just betting without improper information, I'm okay with it, outside of the fact that he's already breaking the rules. So if the rules, were to be adjusted, which I think they, potentially should be, to allow it, I can be okay with it. But, at the end of the day, he broke the rules, so he has to face the consequences.
Yeah. So what do you think a fair punishment is here, Matt?
I mean, maybe
jail for 10 years, or
maybe he would have to sell his ownership of whatever team.
That's pretty drastic.
He has a 10% stake in Salford currently.
Yeah, maybe sell it 10%. I mean, it's like he would get the money back, and then I'm sure you have to pay whatever fine. But
he can't sell it. He has to just give it up. Can't take any money for it.
yeah,
Just punish.
yeah, but I mean, probably just a big fine, and maybe he has to sell his ownership. I think that would be fair to me. I don't know.
So I agree with the big fine. I'm not too certain about selling his ownership. This is the first time he's been caught, right? And this is his first charge.
Yeah, with 140 counts of it.
I understand that, but maybe he didn't fully understand that what he was doing was wrong, or I don't know the full context of the story. This was one you kind of slid in before we recorded because I didn't.
He's from Manchester, so he knew.
Okay, but yeah, I don't know how to respond to that. So if this was something that was recurring, I could see escalating punishments. But this is his first charge. I get that he's been charged with 140 counts, but this was his first time that this has ever happened. So I think a hefty fine, possible suspension. He can't attend Salford games, and maybe he has to go to an education class about proper betting or something like that. I can understand, or not proper betting, but proper not betting. I don't know the right way to say it, but maybe an rules education class or something.
Do you think this should affect his ability to manage in the future in any way? Like, should this be a suspension from management over a certain period of time or anything?
No, I think he's already kind of got a little bit of a stain on his name just from that, and also from the Oldham job.
But if he was still in Oldham job, do you think this would affect that?
Probably. This would be a bigger deal if he was a current manager, I feel like.
Even if the betting didn't happen while he was the manager?
Yeah, because it'd still be I don't know. It's just a bigger deal when someone's actually in it, right? It's just the nature of media.
Yeah, that's true.
Because people would put pressure on Oldham to fire him. And right now, I mean, what is the media putting pressure on? I guess maybe to sell his stake in Salford. But, I mean, he's done, that club has grown.
Our media is doing that, apparently.
Yeah, Matt's trying to do that. We're leading the charge here.
All right, anything else you guys have to add on this?
No, I'm good.
As I'm thinking about this, I feel like I have a fundamental issue with betting because, I don't bet, but if you have, I feel like, what, are they just supposed to take our money? You're not supposed to know anything? I feel like if you have information, use it. I don't know. I feel like that's stupid. Why can't you use the information? Like, why can't he bet?
Because it's not.
You know what I mean?
He has insider information. Why can't I bet?
Because
they're just supposed to take my money, these betting companies? Just because I know more than they do?
No, it's because it's
money.
Public information. It's public information. It has to. It's the same rules as stock insider trading
in the U.S. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but I mean, anybody could ask. You just got to know the right people. It's not my fault you don't know.
No, that's not the right attitude.
Hey, that's my 2 cents on just betting in general. They're just supposed to take your money.
What do you mean take your money? It's fine if you have your own algorithms that you come up with and do your own publicly available information research. But if you have a connection to someone who's on the training staff at a team that you're betting on, or Scholes would have access to information that the betting public would not have access to. This is pretty cut and dry. So I'm just going to vehemently disagree with you on this one.
Matt, so say I am CEO of PayPal and I say we're buying Amazon in a couple months. You would invest now because you'd be like, oh my God, they're going to blow up.
Breaking news.
Yeah, right. That's insider information and that's illegal. And people go to jail for that. So you can't do that.
Yeah, I know, but I say that's stupid. I say that's stupid. You just didn't make the right friends. You didn't make the right friends in your life.
Matt,
that seems like a personal problem.
Our economic system would collapse if what you're proposing were to be implemented.
Matt, you're an economics major.
Well, why would... One, okay, our economy doesn't fucking go off of bets. Okay, I'm not talking about insider trading, but I'm talking about just like our economy doesn't revolve around.
No, it's the same concept. So yes, we're not talking about insider trading specifically with betting, but it's the exact same concept. We're using that because that's a little bit more well known of an example where people go to jail for insider trading. But betting is the exact same concept. If you have access to information that other people don't have, the betting system would collapse if they allowed that to take place. Okay, I think this is going to be one of those and just no response.
No. Yeah, I could go on forever.
All right.
I'm just saying.
That's just something we disagree with.
it's a game. I should be able to do whatever I want with the information I have. It's different than, companies and people's livelihoods. It's a game. It's betting. One, it's stupid in general, but
But
There's
the
money
people who
on the
use
line.
this information usually have contracts signed that are just like you cannot disclose this information, and they go to jail.
it's stupid.
Okay. All right. Well, that'll wrap up Christian's Corner here. I hope you enjoy that conversation and enjoy the music before we jump in for Dave's Dives next. Domestic Dives. Damn it.
Oh, very good. All right. Interesting stuff. Interesting viewpoint, Matt. I disagree, but everybody's entitled to their own opinions.
Oh boy.
We haven't had a really good argument in a while, so that was a good one.
I think we have our minute
Yeah.
section.
Yes. Yes, I think we do. Our headliner. All right.
What did I say early on that was a good podcast name?
We had K.
That you corrected me. That was the second one. I think it may have been
Oh.
during that section. That you
Oh, no.
corrected
Yeah.
what I said.
You said you do, they do, and you said has done or they do done or something.
No,
You
it
said
wasn't
something.
that one.
Okay. Matt, do you remember? Were you paying attention?
Real quick, my headphones are.
Okay. Yeah, on the off chance that Matt was actually paying attention.
What? I was fixing my headphones.
All right. Early on, Christian brought something up, and I corrected him on. The Easter Bunny, the
Yeah,
Peter
I know.
Rabbit.
Easter Bunny, that's the one.
Oh yeah, Easter. We're hopping. Okay, yeah, I like that one.
Peter Rabbit.
Peter Rabbit.
Peter Rabbit.
Yes.
Just
All right,
Peter Rabbit. ... Do you mean Peter Cottontail?
All right. Well,
Or no,
yeah,
I think do you mean Peter Cottontail is better name.
Or just Peter Rabbit.
yeah, I have.
Who's
I'll
Peter Rabbit. Yeah, that was a good one too.
I'll listen back and choose which one I like best. All right, Matt. Hello. I don't think you're here anymore, but just wanted to say hello. Thank you for
Hi,
joining
Matt.
us. Seattle, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
I'm right here.
Excuse me.
Hi.
Bless you.
Check out our partner FNX.network for all kinds of awesome content. They have sports content, but also all different types of other things: sports, movies, entertainment, video games, lifestyle, tech, and more. Blogs, podcasts, YouTube videos, and more. All of that is available over on FNX.network. Make sure to go check it out. Support us and support all the other awesome people putting content out there. Again, FNX.network. All right, we ready? Okay.
This is my new favorite thing.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dave's Domestic Dive. Jumping into things, we got 4 topics I want to get to here. First up, Inter Miami is currently being sued by a USL team that's starting up. I believe they're called oh man, what the hell is their? I'll look up their name in a minute, but they said that they submitted plans to redevelop Lockhart Stadium, which is the stadium Inter Miami is going to use for the first 2 years of existence, and then they will transition that to their USL club and academy, and Inter Miami will move to their stadium in downtown Miami. Christian, what do you think about Inter Miami and just all of these mounting legal issues that the franchise seemingly seems to keep piling up before they've ever launched? Is this cause for concern for Inter Miami?
Maybe Miami isn't the city for MLS. It seems ridiculous down there, and they have gone through so many hurdles at this point. What is it worth it at this? Like, it seems like every single person. Are we hopping? Again?
We're hurdling, Christian.
Hurdling that time.
Yeah.
Got it.
I'm trying to give the people that tune in to the YouTube stream some extra content here.
That's we appreciate that. We also
While we have a little break, the franchise is called FXE Football. That's the name of the USL franchise starting up in the area. But Christian, back to you.
Nice. Okay. Well, I just think this is absolutely ridiculous. And why? Why is this happening? Do they actually have a contract to get this done? Do we know that for a fact?
Yeah. So what happens here? A little bit more details. Soccer USA has an article, but they basically claim that Inter Miami hired some people to disparage FXE Football's proposal and basically said that Inter Miami was just spreading lies, and FXE Football obviously was not happy about that. And so they allege that those lies led to Inter Miami ultimately winning the bid.
Okay. I just, it's all wrong. Everything that's being done down there is wrong. I think that the way that this franchise is being founded is causing a strain between the community and the actual team. It's just, they got to do more. They got to do a better job at putting this team together, not disrupting everything else that's going on and currently signed off on down in Miami. It's just crazy. It really is.
Yeah, to add a little bit more context here, the Pro USA article says that Inter Miami claimed there was a, quote, tremendous amount, unquote, of asbestos in the stadium, but FXE Football says there's, quote, almost no asbestos in the stadium, end quote. So, again, you have these conflicting...
There's definitely asbestos.
Apparently, yes. Matthew, what do you make of this whole situation? You know, you have teams and cities beating down MLS's door right now, and the MLS seems to continue to have issues with this Miami, franchise. What do you make of this whole situation?
Yeah, so for me, it doesn't make much sense why they aren't just like running out a stadium that's already built at the point.
They don't have,
and like war going on. I get
always in your section.
Oh my God! Yeah, Matt,
Miami and stuff.
All right, Matthew.
What?
It's your internet's breaking up. I'm sorry. Your internet's breaking up again at the end.
What?
At the end of every time. I don't know why, but your internet.
Is it working?
Yeah, it is now.
It's working okay now. So what do you think about Inter Miami's situation?
Okay, so I'm going to try. Let me know when I break up, okay? Just hop right in. Okay, cool. So I was saying I don't understand why they can't rent out an already built stadium in Miami or just some sort of ground, because I know there's definitely somewhere they could just rent for whatever, a year or two, whenever their stadium's going to be built. I don't understand that's right? Wasn't it like 2 years?
Yeah, it's 2 years. And this is what they're doing. They don't have a stadium. There is no stadium.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, that's what I'm saying. The plan was to build it in
You're not hearing me.
Miami.
They're building their main stadium in Miami. There's nowhere for them to play in Miami. They explored playing on FIU's campus. That didn't work out for a variety of reasons. There is nowhere else for them to play. So that is why they're moving to Lockhart. Matt?
Okay. That makes some sense. So, I mean, there is a lot of problems, and I kind of liked Christian's point about, God damn it.
All right. We're gonna try to get Matt back. I'm going to throw in my 2 cents while he tries to figure out his internet situation. Apologies for this. It is really frustrating to see all of this happening with Inter Miami. And at this point, it's just like, why are they trying so hard? Like, I do think having David Beckham in the league as an owner will do wonders from a marketing standpoint and from a global exposure standpoint for MLS. I get that they want him there, but there just keeps being issues. And it's getting draining for fans of MLS, and Inter Miami just needs to stop shooting themselves in the foot on all of these things. Christian, anything else you want to add?
I would love to hear Matt's thoughts on this.
All right. Hey, speak of the devil. Well, I think we have Matthew back here, and so we're going to try to get his thoughts on the stadium situation and just Inter Miami overall. Matthew.
He's literally just breathing.
Oh, the internet came back right as you finished that. So I was saying no. I was cutting out no. Please don't.
Okay, I didn't know what this meant.
You literally, all I saw was
no, I was like, don't call me. Don't call me.
All right. I didn't know that's what this meant.
Saying,
I thought you were just like, yeah, okay.
You were like leaving, like, hi, I'm back.
All right, yeah, okay.
Okay, no.
You liked what Christian said.
Is it back? Do I sound?
Yes,
okay?
you sound good. You started to say you liked Christian's proposal.
I liked Christian's proposal of why does Miami deserve a team? Because I'm thinking about their other sports organizations, and they have the worst fan base freaking in America, where nobody goes to their games. Like you think of the Florida Marlins games, or I guess it's Miami Marlins now, and it's like my entire life. I think you've always been able to count on two hands how many people are at Florida Marlins games. When LeBron left the Heat, like the tickets are like $6 now. Nobody wants to go to freaking Heat games anymore. So I liked his proposal. Why does Miami get a team?
Yeah, and so I kind of touched on this a little bit while we lost you for a minute there, and I think the only reason still holding this thing together is David Beckham being involved, because he brings a level of global exposure for the league that I think would be good for MLS. But if he wasn't in this ownership group, I don't think that they would still be dealing with all of these situations, and MLS might walk away because they have so many people beating down the door. So I'm in agreement with you on that one. Matt, anything else you want to add?
No, I'm just going to talk as little as possible.
Okay. All right. Next topic I wanted to talk about. MLS has agreed to begin participating in training compensation and solidarity payments. This was huge news. I believe it came out last Friday. Now, there are a lot of caveats within this, but it's at least a start. Now, MLS will not participate, training compensation and solidarity payments. We've talked about a number of times on the podcast. Quick rundown. Basically, if you sign a youth team player, you owe training compensation to those other clubs that help develop that player between the ages of 12 and I believe it's 23 years old. And there's a FIFA mandated cost that's associated with those training compensation payments. Now, that is when they sign their first professional contract. In addition to that, there are solidarity payments where anytime a player is transferred before his 23rd birthday, anytime a player is transferred at all throughout his career, any club that played a role in that player's development from the ages of 12 to 23 gets 5% divided evenly by year of that transfer fee. And so, again, that's just a quick explanation. There's lots of little nuances to it, but that's a quick explanation of training compensation solidarity payments. U.S. Soccer and MLS have not participated in that because they cite U.S. labor law and child labor laws as an issue. MLS is basically coming out and saying they found a way around that, or they're just going to be, participating in it moving forward. Now, this is only going to apply to players that sign and transfer internationally. It's not going to really affect domestic players, and it hasn't really had a ton of news about lower divisions, whether USL or, just local teams can participate in training compensation solidarity payments. So, Christian, what do you make of MLS, I should say, beginning to participate in training compensation solidarity payments?
Well, I'm so happy to know what that is now because we've never talked about it before. It's such a I can't wait for us to develop a program where we can just press a button and you'll just have that whole thing just go right in there because we've said it so many times now.
I know. We have new listeners and things like that. I want to make sure people know.
It's huge. It's brilliant news, and MLS should be doing this. The development of players is so important. Obviously, the players are learning the most basic things and the most fundamental skills at those ages that they need to compete at the highest level of being a professional. And MLS should be paying teams who have helped develop those players and are making a contribution to them for all the training and money they've put into that player as well. So this is huge news.
I agree, but make no mistake about this is MLS doing it because they are going to get paid. There are tons of players like Weston McKennie, Christian Pulisic, who leave U.S. Soccer, leave MLS's, arm, catchment areas and go sign overseas. And MLS is trying to get those payments. Yes, they will still pay overseas teams, their rightful training compensation solidarity payments, but I think MLS is doing this because they expect to get more money than they ultimately pay out, in my opinion. Matt, what do you make of MLS's decision to do this?
Yeah, so I think it's the right move. I'm pretty much in agreement with both of you here, but I'm going to say as little as possible because I think Dave has earned the right to just talk about this for as long as he wants.
I don't like that. Don't do that.
All right.
Forever.
Well, I'm not going to talk forever, but you guys know that this is a huge deal for me. Now, I still think that this is a stepping stone.
For you, Dave.
Yeah, no, I just think this is key for U.S. Soccer, but I don't think that this is the end-all, be-all. And I think that this is a great, initial step, but really what needs to happen is this needs to flow down the U.S. soccer pyramid. And this needs to get to USL. This needs to get to NPSL and it's not PDL anymore, but USL League 2 and all the way down throughout the pyramid for this really to make an impact. Any additional revenues that are made available to any teams in U.S. soccer are going to be great. But, this isn't like tomorrow every team can fully fund their academies. This is going to take a very long time for this to have impacts throughout U.S. soccer, but this is a fantastic stepping stone and a great start. Christian, you're laughing hysterically. Something you would like to say?
Yeah, this is a huge deal for me.
It's not. I mean U.S. soccer, but this is something I've been hammering home that I really think having a training compensation solidarity payment system throughout U.S. soccer is huge for the development of soccer in this country. Now, make no mistake, this is not what I've been talking about. This really needs to be a stepping stone to getting rid of pay to play throughout U.S. soccer. This is not that. This is really just MLS finding an additional revenue system. We need to figure out a way that USL academies can function, fully funded through this system. We need to figure out a way NPSL and then all the way down through grassroots soccer can make use of this system, because that's really how it works overseas. And everybody's incentivized to push players as high as they possibly can because it's in their best interest. Right now, that's not in clubs' best interests in U.S. soccer and at the grassroots level. So that's why this is such a big deal for me, meaning U.S. soccer. All right. Matthew, anything else you would like to say?
I was just letting you know Game of Thrones is within 30 minutes, so I know you can go on all day, but I'm just saying let's keep this topic to under 30.
All right, fair enough. Yes, that was the last thing I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Christian, anything else you want to add insightful?
No.
Last thing I wanted to mention, Jozy Altidore. Recently, he injured his hamstring in a dramatic win this past weekend, 4-3 win against Minnesota for Toronto. After the game, he came out and basically called out the Toronto FC president for basically letting his ego get in the way. And Toronto FC had a trainer that came in under Sebastian Giovinco. And Jozy Altidore credits that trainer with him not having injuries over the last 3 years. He hasn't had major injuries, specifically soft tissue injuries over the last 3 years. And as soon as Giovinco left and the Toronto FC relationship with him soured, the president of Toronto FC, Bill Manning, fired this trainer and has not let him come back. And Jozy Altidore basically came out and just called out the president from Toronto FC in the press. He said this to the press. Basically, he needs to put his ego aside and do what's best for the team. Matt, what do you make of Jozy calling out the Toronto president in the press about the situation?
That's bold. That is very bold. So I think at this point in Jozy's career, he has somewhat earned the right to at least criticize, maybe not in the fashion that he did, but the right to try to get this man his job back, and it's for the betterment of the club, and that's what he believes. I don't know what happened between the president and this trainer, but it seems as though the right move, soccer-wise at least, is to keep him at the club. And I think Jozy may have went about it in the wrong way, but understandably he's upset. And when soccer's an emotional game, and right after emotional games, you can say things abruptly. So I kind of understand where he's coming from.
Christian, what do you think about Jozy calling out the president in the press?
I don't think it's smart to come out and criticize in the press, but I think that he has a right to express himself and tell the president, hey, this guy really has done wonders with my fitness and keeping me healthy over these years, and he's been performing during that time as well. Why did you get rid of him when you knew that he was going to provide an enormous service to both the club and him on a professional and personal level? So I think he's right to express that, just he did it on the wrong platform.
I agree with you. So, this is fantastic just from the standpoint of us having a podcast and being aware of this, because I had no idea about this. And it's really cool, insightful information to just have. And that's why Jozy's been relatively healthy the last few years. But this is not what you want to see if you're in the front office of Toronto. And he did not go about this in a professional way. So I'm sure he should be likely fined by Toronto. I don't think suspended or anything, but I think he should be fined here. Matt, any thoughts? Should he be fined or anything?
Maybe he should be fined. I was going to suspended, but he's injured. So what's the suspension going to do? maybe find a little bit, but what are you gonna do? Cut Jozy Altidore? I don't think the MLS can, or a team like Toronto can afford to do that at this point.
Yeah, I don't think this is cut worthy. I think that this is him speaking his
Yeah.
mind. Like you said, he's injured. He's dealt with injuries throughout his career. This was him being emotional, but I agree that he didn't go about this professionally. Christian, anything else you want to add?
We'll take him in Philly.
Yeah, I would love him in Philly. Yes, I would agree with that. Do you think he should be fined?
Yes, he should definitely be fined just because they don't want other players going into the media and ripping on the president. But yeah, he'll be fined.
Right, fair enough. That brings us to the end of Dave's domestic dive. No listener questions this week. I'm sure everybody's celebrating Easter, and that is why. Go check out the Soccer Tavern. It's a video making videos about the history, culture, and philosophy of the beautiful game. Christian, what was our trivia question? And then Matt and I will give our guesses.
Trivia question is, what team has received the most penalties in the Premier League over one season? Two teams have done it.
In the Premier League's history, so since the 90s.
Yes.
Matthew, do you want to give your guess, or do you want me to go first?
I think you go first.
Okay. I'm going to say Liverpool and Manchester United with 11 each.
Oh, that's it? I feel like there would be more.
I don't know.
Okay,
I'm just okay. This is a guess.
Okay, I would say the most ever, 11. Okay. I would say Liverpool and I don't know, like Newcastle. Let's go with them at 17.
Okay. Well, neither of you got one of them right. So it is Leicester City in their wonderful season. They had 13. And Crystal Palace in 2004-15. Both had 13 penalties.
Fuck you, Matt. My guess was closer than yours.
Yeah, you're still an idiot.
All right, fair enough. All right, listeners, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Apologies for the explicit cursing at the end there. If you liked what you heard here, please consider leaving us a review on whatever podcasting platform you listen to us on. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. iTunes reviews help the most if you're listening on an iOS device. Only takes a couple seconds. 5-star review would really, really help us out. Please consider doing that. Christian, you want to tell people about our Slack channel?
I would love to. So join us on Slack if you want to communicate with us or anyone else on our soccer channels. So we have a bunch of different channels in there, which are international soccer, all the top 5 European leagues, MLS, transfer rumors, all that good stuff, a general category where you can come and talk to us about anything. So if you want to join us, email us at brostalkingsoccer@gmail.com or tweet at us at BTSoccerPod.
Excellent stuff. And yeah, it's basically like just a way, it's basically kind of like a chat room mixed with messaging and email service. Yeah, exactly. So just a way to interact with us and lots of other soccer fans. So super casual, free, and all that. So please feel free to join. Matt, can you tell people where to find us online, our website?
Yes, you can find us at www.brostalkingsoccer.com. There you can see past episodes, read about us, YouTube videos, things like that. There's also an Amazon store link you can click on. You click on it, no additional cost to you. It really helps us support the show. You just go shop for your Amazon stuff there, and really helps support us.
Yeah,
Cool beans, guys.
Yeah, a couple extra steps, no additional cost to you. And yeah, if you're buying anything on Amazon, please consider doing it. It really, really helps us out. Christian, happy Easter, and thank you so much for talking with me today.
Happy Easter, David. Happy Easter, Matt. Happy Easter and Passover, listeners.
Yes, hope everybody had a great day. Matt, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for being here. I've already wished you a happy Easter. Listeners, most importantly, thank you so much for being here. We really, really appreciate you. Tell a friend if you liked listening to the podcast. Word of mouth really helps us grow and all that. So thanks, and we'll talk to you on Thursday. So I'm interviewing a childhood friend who is a strength and conditioning coach this week, and so his name is Joey Migleris, and so he'll be on the podcast. Interview will be out on Thursday, and then we'll be back with another podcast next Sunday. Have a great week, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right, people of YouTube, thank you for being here. And yeah, we'll talk to you sometime soon. See you, everybody.